I'm so sick of these evil, wicked Egyptologist dudes that don't know what's going on. Sick of them. I was finna kick back. And man, just chill and let the videos, marinate and let the Hebrews, just enjoy the history. But soon as I start searching around, man, it's always an attack, man. They always attack it, and they doing it more in the last days as this system is crumbling. It seems like they pouring these Negroes out of buckets. Man, like they got a well full of Egyptologist dudes, man, that they can just go get a bucket of them and just pour them everywhere. How about here's another fool? Man, I'm talking about a pure fool, man. This dude right here, look. Why I left the Israelites. My journey into critical thinking. Man, this dude, look, they try to have a humble look. It be a conspiracy, man. These dudes be getting sit out. They be part of some Egyptologist camps. And then it be their time to go out into the public and sow dissension and misinformation. And these dudes don't have a clue what's going on. And guess who they always refer to? Man, the government and the system is cold. Because every time somebody denounce a Israelite heritage and say, oh, this ain't right, and they be knowing kind of like in their heart that it ain't right, is that they refer to them camps. Every time, man, I'm talking about, man, it ain't a single time that they ain't talking about them camps and them brothers and sisters that's out on the corners hooping and hollering and stuff. It had to be a reason why the government allowed them brothers and sisters to get out on the corner and not try to sabotage that. It had to be a reason. It had to be a reason why, the government, ain't try to sabotage them groups that's out on the corners and knock their leaders off and then misdirect their movement. They got all kind of ways to sabotage men of movement and stuff. So, being that the government allowed, that to take place, then, it had to be for a reason, and it's bearing fruit now. And the reason is that the people who out on the streets hooping and hollering, professing to push Israelite history and doctrine, is pushing Jewish myths. Now, why wouldn't the Jews allow them to be out pushing Jewish myths? Man, they gonna let them push that, and they gonna encourage them. You know what I'm saying? Probably bring them some water. Sometimes probably somebody walk up to them and bring water, sandwiches, and chips and everything. And they want this kind person always feeding us. Yeah, they want you to stay out there with that misinformation. And this misinformation is used to drive Israelites out their heritage. Somebody probably genuinely wanted to understand that they are Israelite. But then when they run across the camps doctrine and then in this day and time, the camps should have been there and revised their doctrines. I just made a couple of videos, man, about the camps and so forth, and here we go back again, because it's an ongoing thing, and we need to get the understanding. The people that's in the camps, man, they need to come up out the camps and sit back and watch the Israelite Brotherhood history. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All right, Hebrews, this dude right here, man, talking bad, man, about the Israelites and why he left the Israelite movement. And then what I want to show Hebrews is that it be a conspiracy, that them guys be getting together with other Egyptologist folks, and then they be playing in this. They be taking turns hoofing to get on the internet and talk bad about the Israelites. Man, this dude just streamed this the other day, and it's amazing. Man, I barely get 100 watchers, man, 100 people to watch, man, the history that I show, but for some reason, man, these folks get thousands and thousands of views, and they ain't showing no history. They ain't talking about nothing. And then they discrediting Israelites that's using Jewish myths. Easy to do, especially if you understand a little bit of biblical history. Now, this the thing with the Egyptologists, the Israelites that succumb back to the Egyptologist doctrine, they don't know what happened to the Israelites. They don't have a clue. When people be saying, I know the Bible, I done read the Bible, they done read a couple of chapters and they might be just a little bit familiar with it, but they really don't know Tanakh history. They really don't know Tanakh history. Man, I go into the whole Bible, man. It ain't a book, a prophet, man, that I can't tell you the dates, the timeline, the history, what we was going through, and them individuals, when I look at them and listen to them, I know that they lack Tanakh history and that they don't understand what's going on. They don't even understand who the Ashkenazi, when you be listening to these people who be knocking the Israelite history, not one time have the Sephardi's come into their conversation. Not now time have they ever mentioned Ashkenazi. They just go immediately to the discrepancies in the New Testament. They don't understand exile history and how the Israelites never made it over into New Testament time. Man, it's awful, man. They almost, they like the Hebrew that was in the promised land that was telling the Israelites that they ain't gonna be driven off the land and that they wasn't gonna go into slavery and that the curses wasn't gonna get us. That's what these individuals is. When these individuals, they become talking that mess and got an Egyptian background associated with them, then they like the false prophets that was in the Tanakh that said, hey, this ain't gonna happen. This ain't gonna happen to y'all if y'all break the covenant. It is what he's saying basically. If y'all believe in Egyptian religion, it's okay in this day and time. That's what this fool is saying. That's what this stupid fool is saying. If you believe in Egyptian religion, it's okay. Now listen. The people, the original Egyptians who originally controlled Egypt, don't control Egypt no more and never will. The African Hamite element that controlled Egypt long time ago in the BC days before the Greeks, before the Persians really dug a hole in them. But before the Greeks dug a deep hole into the Egyptians, they dug a deep hole in them. Them Greeks and them Europeans come down to Egypt and they massacred and did the dance to Egypt. Egypt ain't SHIT now because of what the Greeks and them did to Egypt. And then Almighty Yah said how he would destroy the Egyptians and how the Egyptians ain't gonna never be the same. Egypt ain't gonna never be the same no matter how much you suckers cry, man, about an Egyptian heritage. It'll never come back. It'll never come back. But guess who's still here? Israel's still here. Israel is still here. Israel is still here, but Egypt ain't here no more. And you Negroes ain't gonna never control Egypt. The Edomites control Egypt. Pharaoh gave the Edomites land long time ago in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? I might read that little history. But many of these individuals lost. There's not gonna be no long video because man, it don't require too much to put these dudes in their place. Hebrews, whenever they talking about, I was a Hebrew Israelite and then I left. They didn't have no understanding of what went on in Tanakh history and how we broke the covenant. They don't know. That's why they left, because they was discontent with the camp's doctrine. Man, that's probably a good reason to leave, but then they draw them over into the Egyptian religion and heritage. When they break away from them camps and so forth, they run straight to the Egyptian organizations. Listen to this stupid person.
Look, like, remember I told you that they didn't want us to go to college, so you couldn't even get information off the internet then. And so the internet was untrustworthy. And so, if even if there was, like, other Hebrew Israelite camps who were teaching the same thing, unless it came from your camp and came from the ICUPK, it was not the truth, so to speak.
See, man, the camps, man, they using the camp doctrines, man, to knock the Israelites. Man, they using the camp doctrines, man, to shut us down. And now they say that the camps are going and embracing the very people that they chanted down in the days, back in the days and stuff when they first started forming, and how it's such confusion and how that it's all kind of mischief in the camps, That's what these dudes is picking up, and then they run and grab an Egyptian banner and chant the Israelite movement down, and then when other peoples try to come into their Israelite heritage that ain't ran across no real organization that ain't using Jewish myths, then the people be lost, man, and they don't know what to do. Man, it's awful, man, that we got the battle between, all this old mess and stuff. Listen to this ignorant dude.
And, issues regarding the Bible as a whole and all of that other good, saying stuff. So then they started, interrogating me, like, well, what do you find as a contradiction and stuff like that? And I started hitting them with stuff. And then they try to come back, and then I hit them because, now they're knowing that I know these scriptures.
He's supposed to just dismantle the camps, and
I'm able to
now he
can
maneuver around
everything in which they were
show that they false and
hit me back with.
Now he's an
Egyptologist. So it just got to
the
point where they just got this one brother got frustrated because he couldn't out argue me, on these particular issues here, and I was showing the weaknesses, of their argument, and it was funny because when I was doing this, again, remember I said there were some younger folks that were with them in their same camp.
He gonna knock the
now they're
Israelites.
looking, puzzled and confused.
He don't know what's
because
going
of course
on.
They're listening to this older guy and hearing what he's saying.
If all what he's saying is really some garbage, if you analyze what he's saying is that he ran across some camps and how he defeated the camp's doctrine and so forth. Now, the thing is that this dude is playing with fire. And he playing with fire, and he don't know that Almighty Yah is real. You see, he playing with fire, and he don't know that Almighty Yah is real. And he don't know that the Hebrews broke covenant for Egyptian religion. And if he knew that the Israelites broke covenant for Egyptian religion, then I don't think he'll be up saying all this stuff about the Israelite movement and the Israelites that's lost, that don't know real history and so forth, and how that the camps, ain't using real Israelite history, and how that they coming off Jewish myths. And if you listen to that guy, he'll say, oh, the Hebrews, the Israelites was in South America and North America and all that old crap. They take the camp's doctrine, man, and just step all on us. And that's the only voice that's out there right now. It's the camp's doctrine. It's basically who all you gonna run across is the camps, and then how that they all in cahoots together saying that we Israelites was in the South America and Americas and so forth, and how I proved that that's a lie because of the technology that we had with houses, windows, man, boats, wheels with axles, and domesticated animals, and man, domesticated crops, and man, all kind of stuff that we had that ain't no way in the world that we could have been in America where it was overabundance of those materials and not built in identical society that's stated in the Tanakh, with the smelting of metals and the mining of stones and man digging for water and everything. Man, it's a whole bunch of things that the natives don't even qualify, even fit the list of being Israelites. And how all these people, man, they go take the camp's doctrine and then, punch holes in it, and then use some of it to advance further conversion and stuff. But all it is, man, them folks is just like this individual here in the Tanakh that was called Hananiah. Hananiah told us that, hey, y'all ain't gonna go into slavery. You ain't gonna get no chains or nothing put on you. And don't listen to Prophet Jeremiah. Listen to me and how I know what's best. And that's basically what all these dudes be saying, that they know what's best for the people that don't have no understanding. And man, it's messed up that the people that don't have no understanding got to run across these type of peoples, man. And then ain't no telling how long it'll be before they run into some truth, man, about their Israelite heritage. I just pray that the message get out to the Israelites and that they find, the Israelite Brotherhood, because, the Israelite Brotherhood gonna show you what happened to us and how we are the Israelites. See, if this guy knew, man, about the Israelite Brotherhood, I don't think he'll be sitting there telling that lie. You know what I'm saying, about the Israelite heritage, and how I think that he would, be part of the Israelite movement, because then he'll have better understanding of what went on, and he definitely wouldn't be identifying himself with the Egyptian culture. See, if them Egypt folks, them Israelites that practice the Egyptian belief system and want to believe in that mess, if they knew that we broke covenant for that Egypt mess, and that what caused our enslavement, and then if they could see it in the Tanakh like I show it, then man, I don't think they'll be too quick to be rolling with that Egyptian stuff. Only a fool, man, to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like walking around with a suicide bomber. Who want to walk around with a suicide bomber? You know he got the explosive strapped to him and he just might explode anytime. That's what it's like walking around and being with them Egyptian folks. They might go down the drain anytime. Listen to this here. This what these dudes is like. Look, go to Jeremiah 28. Jeremiah chapter 28. This is during the Babylonian Wars. As I explained, the book of Ezekiel is before the book of Jeremiah, and how the book of Ezekiel is when they first came. And then, the Egyptians come out, man, and helped us after they done killed King Josiah, and then they come try to help, stop them Scythians and Ashkenaz and them from, getting up in a house. All right, look. Because the Scythians come across North Africa. They come across North Africa from up here, Caucasus Mountain, and whoop Assyria, come on down here and chased us into Africa. All right, this is what these dudes are. This is who these dudes are that, be proclaiming Israelite heritage and then break ranks. They like these false prophets. All right, and it come to pass, this is Jeremiah 28, and it come to pass the same year in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, the king of Judah, the 4th year and in the 5th month, that Hananiah, the son of Uzziah, the prophet, which was of Gibeon, spake unto me in the house of the Elohim, in the presence of the priests and all the people, saying, Thus speaketh the host, the Yah of Israel, saying, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. The Babylonians was coming and stuff, and he trying to say that the Babylonian war was over with. You know what I'm saying? I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years will I bring again into this place all the vessels of the Elohim house that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took away from this place and carried them to Babylon. And I will bring again to this place Jochanan, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, with all the captives of Judah that went into Babylon, said the Elohim, for I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah, in the presence of the priests and in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Elohim. Even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. The Elohim do so. The Elohim perform thy words which thou hast prophesied to bring again the vessels of the Elohim's house and all that is carried away captive from Babylon into this place. He was saying, yeah, man. If, that'd be good if that happened. You know what I'm saying? That's good if that happened. See, the Babylonians then came and snatched some folks up and then took some of our stuff away, and that was the first time. They're going to come back again in the book of Jeremiah. But this false prophet was saying, that it was going to be prosperity and good times coming within 2 years, the same as those Egyptian folks be saying, hey, don't believe in the Tanakh, because if you believe in the Tanakh and you know that we Israelites, then destruction is coming up on this country and we need to be trying to prepare and get right mentally. But if you believe in that Egyptologist stuff and how they're saying that, hey, ain't no destruction coming and how everything is going to be all right, that's the same as Hananiah, the same as what prophet Jeremiah was going through. Look, then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah in the presence of the priests and in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Elohim. Even the prophet Jeremiah said that, Amen, the Lord do so, the Elohim do so, the Elohim perform thy words which thou hast prophesied to bring again the vessels of the Elohim's house and all that is carried away captive from Babylon into this place. Nevertheless, hear now this word that I spake in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. Now, prophet Jeremiah said, now check this out. Now, that's just what I'm saying. Check this out. Now, they talking all that Egyptian stuff and how that's good. But check this out. You ain't heard that we broke the covenant for Egyptian religion. See, they don't know that. They don't know that. And if they did, they'll be trying to run from the Egyptian culture. Look, nevertheless, hear now this word that I spake in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against many kingdoms, war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophet which prophesies of peace, when the word of the prophets shall come to pass, then shall that prophet be known, that the Elohim had truly sent him. Then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck and brake it. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, This said the Elohim, even so will I break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, from the neck of all nations within the space of 2 full years. And the prophet Jeremiah went his way. Then the word of the Elohim came unto Jeremiah the prophet. After that, Hananiah the prophet had broken the yoke from off the neck of the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Go and tell Hananiah, saying, This said the Elohim, Thou hast broken the yoke of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. And guess what? What that prophet Hananiah did translate into the yoke of iron that was on our neck during the transatlantic slave trade, because we didn't listen and we was driven off the land and we listened to that dummy Hananiah, the false prophet. You see what I'm saying? It's like listening to these Egyptologist dudes. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. All right, look. Go and tell Hananiah, saying, This said the Elohim, Thou hast broken the yokes of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. For this said the Elohim, the host, the Yah of Israel, I have put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and they shall serve him, and I have given him the beasts of the field also. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, Hear now, Hananiah, the Elohim had not sent thee, but thou makest this people to trust in a lie. And that's what this dude doing. He making y'all trust in a lie if he get you to believe in that Egyptian stuff, not knowing that that's what made us break the covenant and cause the transatlantic slave trade, because our enemies really don't have no power but what Almighty Yah allowed them to have over us. So if you listening to these ologist dude talking that crap, mean you just like the folks that listen to Hananiah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what our ancestors did. And that caused the transatlantic slave trade. And then this what Prophet Jeremiah said. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, hear now, Hananiah, that's like I'm saying here now, you Egyptologist peoples that try to push that mess, not knowing what happened to us and how we broke the covenant for Egyptian religion. You folks, you Hebrews that push that Egyptian religion is just like these two figures right there. That's y'all. Alright. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, hear now, Hananiah, the Elohim had not sent thee, but thou makest this people to trust in a lie. Therefore this said the Elohim, behold, I will cast thee from off the face of the earth. This year thou shalt die, because thou hast taught rebellion against the Elohim. So Hananiah the prophet died the same year in the 7th month. Man, that's what these folks needs to be having done to them. The lights need to go out because they dealing with the same Egyptian culture and religion that we broke the covenant for, that caused us to go into slavery and to lose our heritage. So, man, it's got to be a punishment, you know what I'm saying, for that. These wicked black devils trying to re-enslave the Israelites with Egyptian culture and religion. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing that the Israelite nation broke the covenant for evil Egyptian religion, as stated in Tanakh. And that's what the book of Jeremiah is about. If you go to chapter 44, verse 15, 16, 17, and 18. Alright. Then all the men which knew that their wives had burned incense unto other gods, and all the women that stood by, a great multitude, even all the people that dwelled in the land of Egypt and Pathros, answered Jeremiah, saying, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of the Elohim, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do so whatever thing go forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, our princes in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of food and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, we have been consumed by the sword and by famine. So, we Israelites broke the covenant for the Egyptian religion. We went into Africa during the Babylonian Wars, the quietest history on the face of this earth. And then that's why these dudes don't know it, because it's been quiet history. You ain't gonna find this in the textbooks. You ain't gonna find this in the camps. You ain't gonna find this in the church. You ain't gonna find this history in none of your history books. And it's a blessing that Almighty Yah let the Israelitebrotherhood get the history in the highest, the quietest kept history on the face of this earth. And that's where these dudes are. See, they sound so intelligent and so super smart and how they got it all figured out, but they missing that one episode in history, is how the Israelites broke the covenant for the Egyptian religion. And we was messed up with Egyptian religion from the beginning. If you go to Ezekiel, that's Ezekiel 20:23, and look what it say. And the word of the Elohim came again unto me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother, and they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. There were their breasts pressed, and there they bruised the tents of their virginity. In the name of them were Ahala the elder, and Ahalabah her sister, and they were mine, and they bore sons and daughters. Thus their names. Samaria is Ahala, and Jerusalem is Abala. And then it went exactly in that order of how we broke the covenant. The northern kingdom broke the covenant because after Solomon death when Jeroboam come out of Egypt with the Egyptian religion. He put it on the northern kingdom. It stayed on the northern kingdom for 300 years till King Josiah cleaned it up. King Josiah cleaned it up. The Egyptians would kill him and put us back on the Egyptian religion, and we would go into Africa, and all the chapters in the book of Jeremiah fill in the guts. It fill in between. You know, it fill in all the information, and all you got to do is pick it up and read it. That after King Josiah was killed, that we went to Egyptian religion, and that's what caused our enslavement, because we was breaking the covenant for Egyptian religion after we told Almighty Yah that we wasn't going to do the Egyptian religion or the Canaanite culture, and how we were supposed to destroy both, and how we didn't. But let me show you, you Edomite, you Israelites that love a Edomite control Egypt, because the Edomites control Egypt, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing you can do about it, and you will never get Egypt back. You will never get Egypt, will never be in the hands of the pigmented peoples no more. But guess what? We gonna get us a piece of land in the Tanakh, and we gonna have control of it, and we gonna have us a nation one day. Whereas you Egyptologists folks, y'all just gonna be wandering around, cause you ain't gonna come to the promised land with us. Cause if you come to the promised land with us, talking about that Egyptian stuff, we gonna put your lights out. We're gonna put your lights out. I'm here to tell you, that's one thing that'll guarantee your lights getting put out, is if you come back among us Israelites when we get some freedom from this country, and this country collapse, or the enemies gone and break us off a piece of the mountains like Almighty Yah say gonna happen, then man, we can't have no Egyptian stuff around us. And if you come around us with that Egyptian stuff, your lights going out, because that's what caused us to get in our whole enslavement and troubles that we in as a people today come from us breaking covenant for Egyptian religion, as I just read in Tanakh. So if you messing with that Egyptian religion and we get by ourselves, you suckers can practice it now, because you got the protection of the beast protection you that promote an Egyptian system. Almighty Yah said that the Israelites will be taken back to Egypt in ships, and then I got overproof that the Egyptian monuments and all that stuff that come from Egypt, man, it is here and been here. You know, and how the Egyptian monuments, the Cleopatra needle, and all that stuff is here. All that stuff is here. This right here. This dude right here. This evil, wicked monster right here killed King Josiah. That's the image of Necho. That's Necho right there. That's Necho. He was a Satai king. The Syrians set his dynasty up. You know, they killed King Josiah after he cleaned up the Egyptian religion. Our only chance of being free of Egyptian religion and influence since King David. Because Solomon got throwed off immediately and started, you know, he even had one of the Egyptians, Pharaoh's daughter. But this evil, wicked Pharaoh, after Solomon 300 years later, would kill King Josiah, who was a prophecy king who prophesied to clean up the Egyptian religion that Jeroboam brung out. And as I explained to you, Hebrews, how Jeroboam was and from the tribe of Ephraim, and how he was mixed with the Egyptians, and then how he kept, you know, the tribe of Ephraim kept associating with them Egyptians and so forth. And that's like when these stupid, ignorant Egyptologists do be saying, oh, the Israelites, I can't find no Hebrew nowhere around. You ignorant fool. We was on Egyptian culture. We spoke the Egyptian language. How else would we worship the Egyptian gods? And being running into Egypt, being there so long, and that the Hebrew that we had, man, fell into the Canaanite Amorite hands who spoke Hebrew anyway. So, you know, man, and then any Hebrew that we had that would have been in Egypt when we was in Egypt was destroyed during Greek times, because the Greeks got in there and then they invited the Sephardi's and all the scribes into Egypt and Alexandria, and then they would destroy any information that is associated with the Israelites. See, these dudes don't know that. They don't know that Israelite history is real. All right, Necho killed King Josiah, put us back on Egyptian religion, and we will go into Africa to worship the Egyptian religion, as I just read. This obelisk right there is in Central Park. They call it the Cleopatra needle, but it come from Heliopolis, the city of On, where the priest of On was, whose daughter Asenath that Joseph had the two sons by. And this was erected during our enslavement in Egypt, and then they brung it over here to the Americas. It's three of them. It's one in Britain, and one in France, and one here in the United States. And those obelisks was erected during our enslavement in Egypt. And that Necho would kill King Josiah when he got rid of the Egyptian religion and so forth. All right, now for you old stupid Israelites that believe in that Egyptology stuff, how you ain't finna never get Egypt back, because Pharaoh was slick. Like Pharaoh planned our destruction. Pharaoh handed the baton over to the Edomites to continue the Egyptians' wickedness, as the Edomites got control of Egypt right now today. Look, this was during Solomon time, how, all the enemies come out that King David had got rid of. But check this out. This show that the Edomites was given land in Egypt, and we know the Edomites control Egypt right now today, and been controlling it since the 600 AD or something like that, when they ran them folks across the Templars, and all them folks ran them on up into their little homeland up in Europe and so forth. All right, this is 1 Kings chapter 11. And the Elohim stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad, the Edomite. He was of the king's seed in Edom. For it come to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. So we had went to the Edomites' territory to whoop on them. We went to the Edomites' territory, men, to whoop on them, and how we'll post up in their land for 6 months. And if any of they males even acted like they had some scrotums, that we wanted them to step up, and how we dealt with them and bust them up. And some of them would take off. Take off to Egypt. Some of them would take off to Egypt. As did happen. Look, and this was during King David time. For it come to pass, when David was in Edom, and Joab the captain of the host was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom. That Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt. Hadad being yet a little child, and they arose out of Medine and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they come to Egypt unto Pharaoh. And then Ishmael kicking it in Paran, that's where Ishmael went. And then how Ishmael was an Egyptian also too, All right. And they arose Medine and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they come to Egypt unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him an house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land. See, gave him land. So, the Edomite had land in Egypt. And then that'll be the Edomites in Egypt right now, controlling Egypt. And then that's where these fantasy-seeking Negroes want to sojourn, and how they living in a nostalgic dream of some great empire of Egypt, and how, you know, they fantasizing that they finna some kind of way be reunited with Egypt. That's over with. You ain't finna never, you suckers ain't finna never be reunited with Egypt. And the Edomites gonna always have Egypt. And Egypt is part of their inheritance. So you Egyptologists, believers can hang it up. Cause you ain't finna never get your hands on Egypt. Whereas we gonna get some land in the promised land. So, you know, we know Egypt had a heritage in Egypt. You know, like I say, Hebrews, this video, you know, ain't gonna be long. I just wanted to cut that dude real quick. Go on and cut him real quick. You know, that's how we're gonna have to do when these dudes start hating on the Israelite heritage. Is how we're gonna have to go on and cut them real quick. Put the slice on them. Alright, shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. You can't be listening to them dudes about anything dealing with Israelite heritage, because them guys don't know. And then if they knew that we broke the covenant for Egyptian religion, then they 9 out of 10 they ain't gonna be sitting there talking that bull crap, because they'll know that they caught up in a lie right there, and that they'll be lying to themselves. As you can see the results of Almighty Yah's words when he told us that if the covenant was broken, and how we would be enslaved. And we show in Tanakh history how we broke the covenant for Egyptian religion, and you see where we at, in captivity. Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.